So I don't know if you're watching the impeachment hearings. I watched some of it last week. This week, it's hard to follow, meaning that it's just so stupid. So I showed you this last week. So last week, their big star witness was this guy, Ambassador Taylor, and he said that he had overheard a guy who said he overheard a phone call, and that guy he said he overheard was this guy, Ambassador Sondland. And Sondland said that he overheard Trump doing this quid pro quo thing. And so they asked Taylor, because this guy, well, I was fine. You don't even need to know. Watch this.
Made to his testimony that we got a couple weeks ago. It says, declaration of Ambassador Gordon Sondland. I, Gordon Sondland, do hereby swear and affirm as follows. I want you to look at point number 2, bullet point number 2, second sentence.
So Sondland is the guy Taylor says he knows who overheard the conversation. And that's why Sondland told the committee that he was sure that the military aid to Ukraine wouldn't be released by Trump until Ukraine launched an investigation into Biden and Burisma and made a public announcement about it. That never happened, yet they got the aid anyway. So he's going to say, how do you know that you made this assertion that they wouldn't let go of the aid until Ukraine did all this stuff? But Ukraine didn't do any of that stuff, and they still let go of the aid to them, the military aid. So what made you so sure that there was a quid pro quo, actually, when there wasn't? And Taylor said, well, this guy Sondland told me he overheard a conversation. So Sondland, this is last week, he clarified his testimony, what he meant. Ready? Here we go.
Ambassador Taylor recalls that Mr. Morrison told Ambassador Taylor that I told Mr. Morrison that I conveyed this message to Mr. Yarmak on September 1st, 2019, in connection with Vice President Pence's visit to Warsaw and a meeting with President Zelensky. Now, this is his clarification. Let me read it one more time. Ambassador Taylor recalls that Mr. Morrison told Ambassador Taylor that I told Mr. Morrison that I conveyed this message to Mr. Yarmak on September 1st, 2019, in connection with Vice President Pence's visit to Warsaw and a meeting with President Zelensky. We got 6 people having 4 conversations in one sentence, and you just told me this is where you got your clear understanding. Which, I mean, even though you had 3 opportunities with President Zelensky for him to tell you, you know what? We're going to do these investigations to get the aid. Didn't tell you 3 different times. Never makes an announcement, never tweets about it, never does a CNN interview. Ambassador, you weren't on the call, were you? You didn't listen on President Trump's call and President Zelensky's call?
I did not.
You've never talked with Chief of Staff Mulvaney?
I never did.
You never met the president?
That's correct.
You had 3 meetings again with Zelensky and it didn't come up.
And 2 of those they had never heard about, as far as I know.
And
there was no reason for it.
President Zelensky never made an announcement. This is what I can't believe. And you're their star witness. You're their...
Even he knows it's a joke. So that was last week. So this week moved to this week. Sondland, that guy who he said he overheard, he testified. And here's the headline in the Huffington Post. Sondland, bombshell. Walls are closing in. Walls are closing in. This is the beginning of the end. Bombshell. We followed the president. Bombshell. We followed the president's orders, meaning we were doing a quid pro quo, which is an impeachable offense, according to them. That Trump was withholding military aid to Ukraine until they did a personal favor for him. I just want to let you know that these are the headlines in the Huffington Post. Bombshell. But in the real world, this is what's happening. In poll, independents lead sharp swing in opposition to Trump impeachment. And as Kyle Kalinske says, so you mean Ambassador Griggensthorpe explaining what he heard under Secretary Schmaganin's friends heard isn't the bombshell we were told? So he's making fun of the whole thing. And so when the Huffington Post says this is a bombshell, he says we were only following the president's orders. The problem with that is he was interpreting what the president said. The president never told him anything, Sondland. In fact, as Michael Tracy points out, no one told me directly that the aid was tied to anything. I was presuming it was. This is their bombshell. A guy who says, I was presuming it was. So I'm not kidding. If you turn on the media, you turn on CNN or MSNBC or the Washington Post or Huffington Post, they're bombed. This is it, Sondland, man. And everybody on Twitter, man, oh, man. It's like, again, it's the same thing with Russiagate. They got him. Walls are closing in. They got him. And we knew they didn't. And here's what he actually said. Here's what Sondland actually said. No one told me directly that aid was tied to anything. I was presuming it was, Sondland says. And then Michael Tracy says, well, maybe the aid was in fact tied to something, but this testimony doesn't provide any direct evidence for that presumption. And he goes on to say, Sondland says he's presuming that Ukraine military aid was conditioned on the announcement of the 2016 Burisma investigation. A presumption is a tad different than direct evidence. This is, again, but you see how look how they reported. Bombshell. They got him. So here's what's actually happening. This is, again, helping Trump. This is going to help Trump. This is, I don't know, if you want to go back on YouTube, you can look up videos of talk shows when they were impeaching Bill Clinton, and every lefty Democrat or Democratic sympathizer or Democratic voter defended Bill Clinton, even though they knew what he did was wrong. Bill Clinton lied under oath. It was plain to see. He did it. He had sex with an intern in the Oval Office, lied about it under oath. Everybody could see it. It's on videotape. They all said, doesn't matter if he did that. We knew how flawed Bill Clinton was when we elected him. You know who said that? Michael Moore. People don't care. And so now when the right wing says that we don't care about this call to Ukraine, everybody's like, oh, my God, the Republican Party they're no longer. The Republican Party ended today. They don't care about the rule of law. So I encourage you to go on YouTube and look up. They were all saying that. Everybody. We knew what was wrong with Bill Clinton. We elected him twice. We don't care about this. This doesn't matter. Monica Lewinsky came to Washington, D.C. with her own knee pads, like they were trying to entrap the president. An intern is going to entrap the most powerful man in the world. So there you go. That's what's happening with the impeachment. I'm not watching it. I'm not going to spend all day watching this garbage. And that's what this is. This is garbage. This is the Democratic Party doing anything and everything to distract from the fact that they are working against you. Because they are working against you. Come see our live show. We're going to be in Honolulu on December 27th. We'll be in Portland, Oregon, and then we go to Tempe, Arizona, San Jose, California, Sacramento, Miami. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all our live shows coming to a town near you, and become a patron or support the Jimmy Dore Show. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com, become a premium member. Thanks for your support.